Hi, Analisa Six here with the Sober Curator and the Lady of Leisure to bring you the May 2024 horoscope for the zodiac sign of Taurus for Sun and Rising placements. Hi, Taurus. Happy birthday. It's your season, at least for the first half of May. And we've got some great energy happening for you. So let's go ahead and just dive in. If you're not familiar with these horoscope videos, I do kind of a bit of a broad assessment of the month. And if you want something deeper, I do a May 2024 astrology forecast video that's at the top of this playlist. But we're just going to go into kind of what energy to expect for you and how you can best harness it to get the most out of your birthday season. So for the month of May, we start out with the sun in your sign, and then we also have Venus in your sign of Taurus, and we've got Uranus and Jupiter here as well. And the area that that's hitting for the Taurus horoscope is the area that represents the identity and the self. So the sun and Venus here is great for really feeling self-love, self-worth, leaning into acts of, things that build up self-confidence. And Taurus is one of those signs that really loves beauty and adornment. And so ways that you can really lean into this energy for your birthday season is by doing things that make you feel beautiful, make you feel strong, make you feel like when you look in the mirror, you like what you see, whether that's through, adorning yourself with clothing or jewelry that you like, or doing your hair or makeup, or grooming in a way that you like. If you don't wear makeup, I'm not saying you have to. I'm just saying, there's things that, depending on what kind of person you are, that make you feel good about yourself. And having Venus and the sun here for a good majority of the beginning of the month, it's such a good time for you to ask yourself, what do you love about yourself? What makes you feel good about yourself? I feel like, sometimes it's easy for us to fall out of touch with things that we used to do or that we liked to do. And we can get kind of caught up in the mundane or monotony of, going to work and paying bills and just doing practical things. And Taurus is really good at doing practical things. But Taurus being ruled by Venus, and Venus being in, your sign that it likes to be in, your ruling planet is here. It's really important that you remember the other side of your sign, which isn't just being a good worker and having, holding down the fort and being practical and pragmatic and, being steadfast and kind of staying the course. A big part of your sign is also bringing beauty and pleasure to the world through physical experiences, whether it's through beauty, whether it's through nature and plants, or connecting through food. Taurus has a big love language when it comes to food. And so this is a really positive time for you to reflect on the things that bring you joy and pleasure and integrate that into your life in a way that brings self-confidence, self-love, and things that make you feel more like yourself. So that's a big theme for you in May. We also start May out with Mercury finishing up its little bit in Aries before it enters your sign as well. And so we've had an Aries stellium happening throughout the last month. And then that Aries stellium is still happening, but it's about to kind of start dwindling down as all of these planets move through and move out of Aries. So Mercury is going to be in Aries up until the 15th. And so we're going to be in the last little bit of the shadow until May 6th. And then, no, I'm sorry, that happens sooner than that. Let's look. Till May 5th. May 5th, Mercury leaves the shadow period. And then it finishes up its time in Aries. And the area of the chart that we've been having Aries energy with Mercury for Taurus is the area that rules the subconscious, secrets, kind of these deeper feelings and our dream world, all of those things. And so if you've been working through a lot of repressed rage or anger and just kind of maybe things from the past that you're sorting out, this energy is kind of finishing up part of its cycle. Deep wounds that need healing, identity wounds that need healing. That's kind of a collective thing we're all going through. And, kind of the area that it's hitting for Taurus, it's hidden. There's a lot in the subconscious. This these horoscopes get posted on the Sober Curator. And so often, you know, I'll bring up sobriety or recovery in these videos, and the area of the chart that this Aries stellium's been hitting is an area that often has to do with escapism through substances. And so if you are going through a period where you're reflecting on, you know, whether or not you want to become sober or what your relationship is to escaping reality, that's a big theme for Taurus starting the month of May out. We also have Mars entering this area for the month of May. So Mars entered Aries on the 30th, and it's going to be here passing through the 12th house for the Taurus horoscope for the entire month of May. And Mars, when it's passing through the 12th house, does tend to bring up feelings of repressed anger. So we might be feeling like, oh, all of a sudden there's all these things that we didn't realize we were still needing to work through in a deep way. So that's why it's important that you do a lot of things that bring you joy this month too, because you're going to have equally a lot of need to work through areas of frustration. Like, what do you feel stifled by? What do you feel like has been kind of getting in the way of you moving forward in life in certain ways? And what needs healing so that you can lean into joy, pleasure, and more of the things that you want. So that's a really big theme. Also, finding ways to connect to your spirituality in a positive way is really positive for you for May. It's a very introverted month for the Taurus individual. It's a very self-focused month for Taurus. It's really positive though. There's a lot of artistic energy this month. There's a lot of social energy this month for all of us. But you know, you might be a little bit more self-focused and introverted during this period in a way that hopefully helps you work through maybe some of these deeper things that you have been putting on the back burner. We are going to have a new moon in your sign at the beginning of the month as well, which happens on the 7th, I believe. Yeah, so May 7th, we're going to have a new moon at 18 degrees of Taurus, which is such a positive time for you to work through any of the self-worth kind of things that have come up. It's going to make a conjunction to Venus this day as well. And so new moons are a great time for setting intentions, and the area that it's hitting in the chart for you has to do with your identity and your sense of self. So this is a really positive time for you to set intentions towards the identity or sense of self that you want to be cultivating over the next month. Really positive time for setting intentions around anything that you want to call in. The other thing that's happening shortly after that, so we talked about Mercury, you know, kind of finishing its stint in Aries, and then on the 15th, it's going to enter your sign of Taurus and move into that area of the chart that has to do with identity and our relationship to self. And so Mercury here joining the Taurus party is really good for you kind of feeling more clarity around that. Your mental process is kind of leaving maybe this fog of who am I, what am I doing? And it's getting more into, okay, I think I know what direction I'm starting to want to move towards. And so it's kind of like the Magician card. You know, the Magician card is where we discover our power, and we discover where we have the power to influence and manifest the things that we want into our life. I feel like where the Mercury transit is hitting for you, Taurus, kind of has more of that energy moving into your sign. Mercury is going to be in Taurus for the rest of the month once it enters. So you'll have, you know, hopefully you'll feel more anchored than you did feel in April. There should be more clarity for you with that. We also have, let's see, the sun is going to be entering Gemini on the 20th. And so when the sun enters Gemini, it's going to be entering the area of the Taurus horoscope that has to do with finances. So money, as well as our relationship to self-worth and material stability. And so this is a really positive time for you having the sun entering this area, because it highlights your ability to manifest money into your life, and also it highlights your relationship to your finances, and anything that you need to kind of sort out is going to be, you know, there's a big light being shown on this area of the chart. Shortly after that, on the 23rd, we have our full moon, I believe. Make sure that I'm right about that date. So our full moon is going to be at 2 degrees of Sagittarius, and we also are going to have Venus entering Gemini as well. So we're going to have a full moon hitting the area of the chart that represents shared resources, loans, taxes, debts. It's also the area that represents death and rebirth. And so all of those things are highlighted during the full moon. And so if there's things that you're sorting out financially, that's highlighted. And then Venus making its way into this area of the chart as well. Money is a big focus around the 23rd for Taurus, and Venus entering your second house of finances is actually really positive for manifesting more abundance and money and financial stability into your life. In the sign of Gemini, it's important that we're open to learning and analyzing different ways that we can make our money work for us. So that could also be something that you think about. Getting financial advisement is really positive for you during the Venus and Sun transits in Gemini. We also have Jupiter entering Gemini on the 25th, which is a big deal. Jupiter's been in your sign of Taurus for the last year, and now it's completely shifting out of Taurus and entering the sign of Gemini. You're going to have Venus, the Sun, and Jupiter all in your second house of finances, and I'm jealous. This is a really positive time for you to cultivate opportunities and money into your life, having Jupiter entering this area. And Jupiter's going to be here passing through this area of the horoscope for you for almost an entire year. I think it's actually over a year, because I think it leaves in June of 2025. So Jupiter in the second house, it brings financial security and abundance. It also brings a lot of opportunities to create more financial stability and security. But in Gemini, Jupiter is not the most comfortable in Gemini. And so one of the things that Jupiter does, it brings in a lot, but it also can be spent, and we can end up spending more money because we have more money. And so being smart with our money is something that we actually actively really have to work on when Jupiter is in the second house. So just because you have a lot of opportunity or a lot of money coming in doesn't necessarily mean that you're going to be smart with it. However, you are a Taurus, and Tauruses are usually really good, practical, and pragmatic when it comes to finances. So use that Taurus sensibility to do something with your money in a way that is empowering and smart, versus just bringing a bunch in and seeing it all go just as fast as it came, because you can run the risk for that as well. Trying to think if there's anything else. We've got Pluto stationing retrograde in Aquarius at the beginning of May, on May 2nd. If we go all the way backwards, I didn't mention that. In the area of the chart that's happening for you, this retrograde period is happening in your area of career. So it's interesting because you've got all this Gemini energy that's going to be, really lighting up your finances, and then it's making a trine to this Pluto retrograde in your house of career, which, Pluto requires us to make a lot of changes. There's a lot of transformation. Pluto, the tagline for it is pain into power. So wherever it is, we experience a lot of hard lessons, but it's also where we become very powerful and empowered and dominant in our lives. And so again, lots of opportunity for Taurus to level up when it comes to your career, your financial stability. But being in air signs and, having Jupiter, it can go just as fast as it came. So, you're going to have to work a little bit extra hard at maintaining that stability. We have a lot of energy in May between the Taurus energy and the Saturn, Neptune, and Pisces energy that also enhances a lot of opportunity for artistic projects and creative projects. And it also enhances inspiration towards creativity. So if you've been feeling like you've been kind of stuck and like you haven't had a lot of inspiration this month, you should start to feel more like that energy is coming back into your life. But again, you have to match that with the action. So even if you feel it, you still have to make the choice to act upon it, right? But if you go and watch the May 2024 astrology forecast, I break down some of those transits more in depth. All right, Taurus. I'm excited for you. I think this is going to be a great month. I hope that you have a wonderful birthday, whenever that is. And if you liked this video, make sure to hit the like, subscribe. You can book a reading with me at Analisa Six at ladyofleodra.com. And I will see you guys all next month.